I'm John Newstreet, President and CEO of the Kissimmee Osceola County Chamber of Commerce. As a reminder, our mission statement is to be champions for business and community. And what's affecting business and community more now? Politics. And what influences politics? The electoral process. So I'm delighted and privileged to have as a guest this week a good friend of mine who served as former supervisor of elections in Seminole County for many years. And then ascended to the role of Florida Secretary of State. His name is Michael Ertel, and as we have a conversation today about the electoral process, again, delighted to have you as a guest today and look forward to learning from you. One thing I've always admired about you is you have a true passion towards election politics, and so I know you know it better than anybody, and so we're delighted to have your knowledge shared with our membership. So welcome, Mike.
All right, thank you very much, John. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. So the first question I guess we'll get to is kind of an overview of the electoral process. There's a lot of news. Obviously, it's starting to heat up, which is why we wanted to approach this topic now on a whole host of topics. So if you want to start maybe with the basics, the timelines and things to think about, I'll seek your guidance here.
I think the number one thing for people to remember as it relates to elections in 2018, especially this August election that's coming up, the beauty of an August election, by the way, is turnout is going to be very low. So no matter where you are, whether you're at an early voting center in Osceola, and I know you have 8 early voting centers in Osceola County, 7 or 8, I can't remember, but I think it's 8, or if you're at the polling location on election day, or if you're voting at home by yourself with a mail ballot, there is not going to be a line. So, you know, the big talk now is, of course, social distancing at Publix and social distancing at McDonald's. Well, this whole ordeal that we've been going through for the past 8 months has helped to really highlight how even in the election process, you're able to have fewer people going to the polling location because so many more people are choosing to vote either by mail or they're choosing to vote at one of the early voting centers over there in Osceola County.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, go ahead. So I was just going to ask too, I voted yesterday early voting and forgot my mask. So I was turned around in my car. They said, no, we've got a mask for you. So they provided me the mask. They checked me in conveniently. And after I voted, they collected the pin back to disinfect it. So it was a very safe, comfortable environment. I was impressed. And like you said, no one was in front of me. So I was in and out in maybe 5 minutes. So, you know, you might talk too about timelines as well as to when early voting may end, as convenient as that is.
Right, so early voting in Osceola County, where I think most of your chamber members are, in fact, early voting throughout the entire state is going to end on August 16th. In Osceola County, y'all can vote early voting every day from today. Today, started earlier, but today you can vote 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Doesn't matter where you live in the county, doesn't matter where you work in the county. If you get to an early voting center and you live in Osceola County, they're going to be able to find your ballot for you quickly, and you'll be able to cast your ballot extremely quickly. So whether you're in Kissimmee or all the way down south, wherever you are in Osceola County, you'll be able to find a ballot easily going at an early voting center, open every day from 9 to 7 p.m., 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you want to, you can go to voteosceola.com to find those early voting centers, or I think a preferred route would be to go to KissimmeeChamber.com, click through to the voteosceola.com link, because the folks at the Osceola County Elections Office will then see, as they do all of their analytics on who comes to our website, what drives people to our website, how cool would it be for them to see how many people go to the Vote Osceola website through the KissimmeeChamber.com website. And while you're there, of course, become a member of the Kissimmee Chamber.
Mike, you're the best. I'm going to get you on every week from now. You'll be a co-host of this program. Thank you. So, you know, you might talk just quickly here as we transition. So there is a formal election, legal election for the state of Florida. We're in the primary state, which goes August 18th. So if you miss early voting August 16th or sooner, then you wait the day and come back August 18th and vote in your precinct. So after August 18th, that leads you to just one of 2 candidates, depending on the race, all the way up to November 3rd. And so all of this is highlighted at KissimmeeChamber.com. We have a specific straw poll page. And so on that page is every race on the Osceola ballot. We partnered with Access Osceola to record 30-second videos of each candidate. Not every candidate participated, but every candidate was invited. The chamber does not endorse. We are a 501c6. We're not allowed to endorse. We do not endorse. So this is really a community educational platform to let you see the candidates, hear from the candidates. We do have a fun straw poll. Again, not a real election, but a fun straw poll to pick your favorite candidate. You can vote once per day, per race, per computer. And so we encourage you to go participate in that straw poll, learn more about the candidates, but we also have information, to Mike's point, for registering or checking the status of your registration. So all of the voter tools are also on that website as well for you to be able to get answers and get engaged. If you haven't registered yet, it's too late. Is that correct, Mike?
Well, it's too late to register to vote for the first time in the state of Florida. However, if you've moved from St. Cloud to Kissimmee, go to an early voting center. If you move from anywhere, if you move from Seminole County and you move into Osceola County, go to an Osceola County early voting center. So if you've been registered to vote in Florida in the past 4 years and you're not sure if you're registered, go to an Osceola County early voting center, talk to them. They'll be able to pull up all your information and let you know whether your status of voting. It is too late, however, if you were most recently registered to vote in Nebraska and you want to register to vote for the first time in Florida. It's too late for this August election. However, you still have time to vote in that November election.
Very good. And that's 30 days out, the registration cutoff. Is that correct?
It's really 29 days out, but it's basically a month out. But the key is, whenever I talk to folks about registering to vote, I never tell them what the deadline is. Just go vote, register now. The next election will be able to be to vote in. You'll then get the opportunity to vote in. If you're not sure, though, go to an Osceola County early voting center. Let them square everything away for you, because they're there and they're really there to help you, to help serve you. I mean, this is a very unique election that we're having. It's unique in the sense that as a business owner, and as a business owner now myself, I can look and see some of the things that the elections process in Osceola County and Lake County, Orange County, throughout the state, and Polk County, what those counties are doing to modify their business, the business of running elections and ensuring that voters trust the process, what they're doing to modify that in order to make the election work. Businesses can learn from that. Government is learning from business. How has business changed what they do based on a lot of the social distancing and some of the restrictions that are now in place? Same thing's happening in elections. So go and vote and look around while you're voting and see what it is that is taking place administratively in that early voting center or in that polling location, and see what's going on. Similarly, you've got the ability, which we've always had in Florida, to be able to vote by mail. This is something that it's not new. In fact, we will this year, even though there's going to be so many vote by mail ballots that are cast this year, we're still not going to pass the record for vote by mail. Vote by mail record in Florida was achieved back during the Civil War. So we'll never break the vote by mail record of what occurred during the Civil War. However, we will have a modern record of the number of people who choose to vote by mail. And it is a safe method in Florida. We do a signature comparison. So I cannot go into I can't request a vote by mail ballot. Mike Ertel cannot request a vote by mail ballot for John Newstreet. We're not related. We're not married, none of that. So I can't make the request for him. I can't fill out his ballot and then send it in and say, I'm filling out John's ballot. He has to do it. And the method of verification for that in Florida is a signature verification, making sure that when John does a request for a vote by mail ballot, that it's he who is returning it. It's not somebody who's gone and stolen his mail and trying to cast a ballot on his behalf. Florida has the most secure and transparent vote by mail process in the entire country. And I would hope that other states would start learning from the way Florida does vote by mail. Because while not perfect, nothing in government is perfect, but while not perfect, it certainly is a great method to cast a ballot. And one thing that Floridians are very proud of is all these options we have. I mean, a perfect world would have 1/3 of the folks voting by mail, 1/3 of the folks voting at an early voting center, and 1/3 voting on election day, as I like to call it, voting classic, because that helps to distribute the voters, helps to make it a much more fluid process, and thus helps to allow the election results to come in much, much sooner.
So it's safe in Florida. Is there some merit then to how other states are doing it? Should we be watching election night and following that, or is it is there merit to what's being discussed on the national stage?
There's absolute merit to the discussion on the national level. about states other than Florida, how some of those states, not all of them, because a lot of states follow Florida's lead on how we do mail ballots and how we process them and how we give everybody the opportunity to the security of the signature verification and the opportunity, if there is an issue with the signature, to be able to to correct it, so to cure that signature issue. Because sometimes people just forget to sign the outside of the envelope. Doesn't mean that their vote's thrown away. Means they have an opportunity to go in and ensure that that vote is able to be cast and counted. So I think a lot of other states could learn from what we're doing in Florida, and that's something that as Floridians, we hear so much about Florida elections post 2000. Well, post 2000, that was a trigger point to allow Florida to become the leader in elections nationwide.
So I've been involved in the political process for many years, and one thing that still kind of gets me at times is the closed primary and the write-in process, and that's affected some races in Central Florida and Orange, Osceola counties and whatnot. So just for the sake of businesses making sure they don't miss the opportunity that, hey, I'm waiting for November and now November is no longer the option. I got to vote in August. Can you talk about how that process plays out with write-ins and closed primary?
Sure. Florida is what's called a closed primary state. And what that means is, that means that the Republicans, the members of the Republican Party, get to select who the nominee is for the Republican Party for that November ballot. Democrats get to select who they want to be their nominee, their Democratic Party nominee for the November ballot. It's like the coach of the Orlando Magic and the Miami Heat. The voters are the coach. You get to set that starting lineup for your team, be it the Republicans or the Democrats, for the November election. So you get to say who their representative is, who that party's representative is. No party affiliation candidates jump. They don't have to go through that primary process. They jump directly to the general election if they're taking place and taking part in one of those partisan elections that are taking place, and they're a no party candidate. People with no party affiliation, they've chosen to not be the coach of the Orlando Magic or the Miami Heat, or the coach of the Republican Party or the Democratic Party as it relates to who they would like to be their nominee. They sit on the sidelines, wait to see who the Republican Party's nominee is, wait to see who the Democratic Party's nominee is, see if there's any other candidates for no party, Libertarian Party, Green Party, and such. And then they get to vote on that final contest in November on who they would like to see to be the nominee. Where the hitch in the giddy up is the way Florida law currently states, is if there's a writing candidate. So let's say there are two Democrats running for office for a county commission seat, District 47 or District 106, County Commission District 106. I know you don't have one of those in Osceola. So if there's two Democrats running for that contest and nobody else, in Florida, the way the closed primary system states is, well, if there's no other candidates, everybody should have the opportunity. It shouldn't just be Democrats voting in that final election to determine who the nominee, who the representative is going to be for that county commission district seat 107. The hitch is that some campaigns or some people will choose to run as a writing candidate. And as a writing candidate, Florida law states, they go directly to the general election, just as a no party affiliation candidate is. So their name is not on the ballot, but it will say John Newstreet versus Michael Ortel versus blank line. The writing candidate is the blank line. Well, that person goes straight to the general election. Now you've got two people of the same party affiliation running in the November election and are running in the primary election, not really giving folks in that primary election, the Democrats or the NPA people, the opportunity to vote in that primary election, or the non-party that's not part of those two candidates who are running. So it's a complicated process. It's a game. It honestly is a game that the candidates and political parties of all over the spectrum play in order to close it out. And I really think that needs to be changed. I've fought for it for years, but alas, it has yet to change.
So we're about at the 15-minute mark. So to wrap it up, I was going to ask you, is there anything that we should highlight in advocacy to change, or is there anything businesses should really kind of follow through this August primary and November election? I mean, you can't deny politics influences every aspect of life, and especially has a direct impact on business. And I'm sure our owners get that. So is there that one piece of advice that says, let's focus on this, or let's really work on this as we go forward?
I'll tell you, one of the things that the elected officials and the politicians always look at, and this is not fair, but I'm just going to tell you it's the truth. One thing they always look at is this person a voter? So if, as a business owner, if you want your voice heard with a politician, you don't have to vote for them or against them, because nobody knows for whom you voted. It's just known that you voted. So if you want to influence the process, make sure you vote. And make sure your record is listed as having voted, because the politicians will notice that you vote. Let them know that you're a business owner, that you influence not just yourself and your family, but your voice through the Kissimmee Chamber, through your networking with other businesses, has a much wider reach than just that one-on-one conversation you may be having with that politician. Just do that. Get involved in the committees at the chamber to help to have what you want be the voice of that committee of the chamber, and thus the chamber. The Kissimmee Chamber is a very, very powerful influence in Osceola County. It's known statewide, even several counties over. It's known very statewide, actually, how much this chamber influences, is an influence on the community. So make sure that you get involved with the chamber and vote. Let your record show that you voted.
Mike, thanks again for sharing your knowledge and taking some time to be with us this morning. Very much appreciate your service to your community and our state, and then, of course, being with us this morning. We very much appreciate you. Again, as a reminder to our audience, please go to KissimmeeChamber.com and participate in that straw poll. Again, you can vote every day for free, once per day, per race, per computer. And so that's at KissimmeeChamber.com, and the voter tools are there as well. So we learned a little bit today, Mike. Again, appreciate you sharing that knowledge, and get out and vote. Vote early and often in the straw poll, but get out and vote in the real election so your voice can be heard. Thank you.
Thank you, John.